Welcome back to CH4K, and this is another Total War Dev Chat on 6.0. It's a new Total War Warhammer 3 update that's coming soon. We don't know when exactly, but it should. If I were to hazard a guess, and now let me reiterate again, this is a guess. It'll probably be coming out sometime later this year. Maybe late December, early January, sometime like that. You might be hearing about late in November this month, maybe. I don't know. But before we begin, I'd like to first say, how y'all doing? You having a good time? Good. Don't forget to vote today if you're running in the States, because Election Day is important to everyone. It's what makes our democracy great, and no matter who you vote for, you have my support in voting for them. Now, without further ado, let's begin.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Coleman, Senior Community Manager on Total War.
That's super loud.
And I'm once again set down.
We're going to stop anytime something interesting pops up, okay? So we're going to stop right here on this part here, because I like the little image here. That should be a cool desktop image. I just want you guys to know that. I'm probably going to put that on my desktop in the future. Now, you guys won't see my desktop. I try to avoid you getting you guys to see my desktop.
For Warhammer 3. We're going to talk a little bit more about the next DLC and Update 6.0. So before we dive into that, let's do some quick introductions. Everybody knows Rich.
Hi, Rich!
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Rich. I'm the game director. I look after the entirety of the Total War Warhammer trilogy.
Josh, a new face.
Hey, Josh!
Tell us who you are, what you do, and maybe just some highlights of stuff you've worked on in the past.
Certainly. So, I'm Josh. I'm a battle designer on the Warhammer 3 DLC team, and I had the absolute pleasure of working on Chaos Dwarfs and, of course, Thrones of Decay. And yeah, just like with those DLCs, I really can't wait for everyone to see what we've got lined up for this.
That's cool, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. And Chris, another new face to our videos.
Hey, Chris!
What do you do, and what have you done before?
So my name's Chris. I'm the Product Audio Director on Warhammer 3 DLC, and I've worked on various bits of Total War games in the past. I think my favourite actually is the one I started off with was Warhammer 2 DLC, which was Silence and Fury. So I remember working on the coatl on that one. That was quite good fun. So
awesome, and thanks for being here with us today.
You seem annoyed with Chris.
Like before,
awesome.
Let's jump in with a little update on where we're at with development. So Rich, do you want to give us a little update on what's happening at the moment?
Yeah. We're into the thick of it. So I think last time we said that we were fully, moving into iteration period. So we're still in that. We're still playing the game. We're still looking at what we need to improve and change. And I think she wanted to solve some of the puzzles. So that's what we're still focused on: fixing some bugs, making changes around that. And I'm sure Chris will tell you a little bit more about the audio side of that as well.
Yeah, our team are very, very busy and flat out at the moment. So all the amazing work that the character artists and animators and VFX artists have done. It's now all culminating in the audio phase now, so we take all that stuff and our team just help bring the world of and characters from Warhammer Total War to life.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, we'll look a bit more into that.
Dude, why do you look like you're annoyed at Chris?
That we can reveal today about the factions, like some new units or some bits you've been working on that you'd like to talk about today. I mean, Josh, if we pass over to you, maybe if you want to talk about the ogres, if there's anything you can reveal to us today about what's coming with them.
Oh, absolutely. We could start off with the Paymaster. Quite an interesting unit.
Alright, let's look at the Paymaster. I like the fact we're starting with the ogres. I feel like the ogres need a lot more work on them to get them up. Like, the other two, the greenskins and the corn, they don't really need that much work, but I would appreciate any work done on them. But ogres need a lot of work. Like, I have zero interest in playing ogres. Like, that's not good. But yeah, the Paymaster looks nicely designed. With the faux hawks.
Because we all know that the ogres love their meat, but there's also one other thing that they absolutely love, and that's their gold. And the Paymaster sort of serves to be that reminder in the battle that if he dies, or if you're not performing well enough in battle, you're not getting paid. So he'll sort of fulfill that support role that the ogres don't necessarily have in combat, and will specialise in primarily enhancing a battle unit's capabilities in combat.
What's you've been doing audio for Paymaster, I assume, as well. So, what is there anything you can tell us about that? How's that been?
Yeah, so whenever we're looking at a unit, we're always trying to think about what's something unique about them or some characteristic we want to bring to life with the sound. And so the sound design team have done a really good job, bringing out, you'll hear sort of gold and...
So yeah, recording, it sounds very necessary. They're trying to get the correct themes of the character. I didn't know that they did that. Actually, quite surprised. I suspect that they did something similar to that effect, but he said it out loud, and yeah, it's a nice confirmation of what I've already suspected, what they do.
Chains and, all clinking around, so it really brings out his characteristics. Yeah, he does like gold. Yeah, he's a big fan of
Well, yeah,
that.
I assume
yeah,
his
that's
name's
just helps characterize him a little bit and bring him to life. Yeah.
I think his little Noblar likes it as well. That sits on his shoulder or up by the chest or something.
does,
yeah.
What else is coming with the ogres? There's got to be more that you can tell us.
Oh, absolutely. One thing I think people will really like is the pigback riders. It's such an absurd unit when you think about it. When you've got this vast, diverse world where you have giants, demons, and all sorts of monstrosities, and then you've got two Noblars piggybacking on each other. They're a fun unit. They're going to specialise as sort of a early anti-large infantry for the ogres. Very well coordinated as well, as you can imagine, for individuals such as them on the battlefield.
Really?
They'll be a bit difficult to hit, but they'll be well worth the cost and recruitment in combat. And the other thing I would like to talk about in regards to them is they'll have a regiment of renown.
Nice.
Interesting.
These guys, they're even more absurd.
Really?
They have ventured into Bretonia, spent a bit of time there, and sort of enhanced their, let's say, jousting skills. So they'll be bringing a lot of Bretonian gear into combat, all the helmets, the lances and such.
Yeah, before I haven't seen the pictures yet, but I've already got an image in my mind of what that's going to look like. So I'm looking forward to that.
They are super cool. We're really excited by them. Elite premium ogre cavalry.
While we're on the subject of ogres, what's been your kind of highlight of working on it so far with this DLC? Like, have you got any favourite units or bits or mechanics that are coming into it that you've enjoyed working on most?
Oh boy, they've all been honestly a blast to work on.
Really?
Our artists and animators have done a fantastic job bringing them all to life. One unit in particular, which
here it is.
Yeshin Maneater. That's another regiment of renown.
Yeshin Maneater.
Bringing in, and that guy is he spent time with the Skaven, and he has picked up a few stealthy and sneaky skills from the Skaven.
How's an ogre going to be sneaky?
Bringing that kind of unit into the battlefield. Imagine this large ogre who's probably the worst character in the room in regards to stealth, but he still manages to pull it off in combat somehow.
Impressive. Yeah.
For anyone at home, if you're not sure what we're referring to, that's the ninja-looking man-eater ogre. So yeah, he looks really cool, and he's like a pseudo hero, isn't he, Josh?
Yeah,
because he's just. Just
they actually went with it.
So yeah.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
To play around in battle.
I feel like that's a nice addition to their stealth portion. Well, the problem with this is, like, Total War doesn't really use stealth that much in Battlefield. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can use stealth, but for the most part, no, you don't really use that much stealth in battle.
Absolutely. We don't usually do units, for regiment renowns like that at least, but that's part of what makes it unique.
Is there anything else you can tell us, like any abilities or anything to kind of shout about that are coming with the ogres?
Yeah, one thing in particular is for Golfag. It's an ability called Deadeye. But in this case, since Golfag's one of the more oldest accomplished ogres, he's also been through a lot, survived a lot as well. So during that time, you tend to pick up a lot of skills and proficiencies. In this case, Golfag's learned how to use the pistol to wear down and snipe people from a distance. So the player will be able to pick any target, well, not any target, any character they want, and if they want to wear him down, maybe take a pop shot or even finish him off as they're routing, well, Golfag will be able to deliver that's for sure.
Let's have a look at Khorne. Let's not.
Why not?
Let's have a look at Orcs and Goblins.
Before we move on, that was okay with the little mess up there. Before we move on, So I just want to summarize the ogres and what I thought about them. So they're getting a couple of new units, new regiment now. I haven't heard anything about mechanics updates, which has me worried. But I feel like they're not going to mention that here. They might mention it later. So yeah, we'll see about that. But overall, I thought the units they added were I don't know how to feel about them. I think they're okay, but I feel like the ogres need more than just units. They need an update to their mechanics to get them back on track.
Rich, you're going to tell us a bit.
Yeah.
Revealing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked a lot about corn recently, so I guess that's what we're not talking about now.
I got my orders, I got my things the wrong way round.
But
He made a slight mistake. That's fine.
There's some cool stuff coming. You might notice on the table, got a few spider riders down there.
Okay, update the
There's a
spider
big reason
riders.
around that. We're going to be doing Snagler Grobspit. He's going to be your legendary hero.
Hero. Okay, so he's a legendary hero.
So like we mentioned last time with Gorbad, that he's kind of a master of all the different, orcs and goblins and trolls and everything that makes up that their roster. This is now the forest goblins that are going to be coming to the party in Snagler. If you don't know too much about Snagler, he's an 8th edition character. He's a forest goblin that rides around a big old giant spider. We've actually had his regiment of renown, his boys, if you like, the Death Creepers, in since, crikey, what was it? Not Warden and the Paunch, way back. King and the Warlord, so like really old school. So he's been hiding out somewhere in the Drakwild, and we finally caught him, and now we're sticking him in the game. And as you might imagine, for a forest goblin, he's all about poison. So you can expect some skills and some buffs and abilities all around that, which accentuate not only his skill on the battlefield, but also his Death Creeper units and then his army as a whole. So he's going to be a fun one.
Quick question: are they going to focus on legendary lords, bring some into the goblins in the future? I'm curious. I don't know if they will.
Seeing him rock up, and then alongside that, we're also going to be introducing a new hero. So that's going to be the Night Goblin Big Boss.
Night Goblin
This hero
Big
is
Boss.
going to be all about, again, accentuating things around squigs. So as you see in the past, we've introduced the colossal squig, so I expect him to be able to wrangle them and do some funky things there. And the other squigs that we've already got in the game. What else have we got? We've got loads more. Black Orcs. So we're doing Black Orcs with shields. Something that I know a lot of you have asked for a long amount of time. So they're going to be coming in as a new unit. They've got these really big, scrappy shields with the colourful sort of faces on them, tough as nails, and they're going to be joining.
I can't wait for the Black Orcs. I'm a little surprised they didn't make him like a free DLC sort of thing, but honestly, I think making Black Orcs with shields is a decent upgrade. It's a decent thing to add to
the phrase a new unit as a part of DLC.
Let's take a look at
thing
corn.
to add for DLC.
Josh, I think you're going to tell us a bit more.
That was quick for the greenskins, like really quick. I feel like most of the stuff's going to be corn and maybe ogres. I'm curious, and there are also no mechanic updates. Well, I think it's fine. The greenskins don't really need a mechanic update. A update to their roster is solid. The new units, I'm kind of excited for them, and Black Orcs with shields. I understand why they did that. I would have preferred it to be a free LC, but I get why they needed to do that. They needed to make their money up somehow, and I feel like Black Orcs are big enough upgrade to be considered to be. We should probably charge for that kind of thing. Meanwhile, the lower units like goblins with spears, goblins with shortened shield, and orcs with spears was too low level enough to dedicate an entire. An entire DLC update for. That'd be too much.
What about some of the units that are coming, some new ones that we can reveal today?
Yeah, so one we can reveal right now is the Lord, the Bloodspeaker.
Bloodspeaker.
New for Khorne. We all know what Khorne's about, all about the fighting, killing, skulls and blood and gore and all that. The Bloodspeaker introduces a new sort of role for him. So, support role, specialises in buffing friendly units around him. But he also encompasses the best of Khorne, which, as I just stated, fighting everything. So this is a character you can easily have enhance your units in combat just by just getting him stuck in, and he'll be durable for that. That's for sure.
Any others?
Well, we've got Zangors, Pestigors, and now we have Khorngors. And oh boy, they're a really tough unit to say the least.
They're adding a lot of units to Khorne here.
Sort of role within the actual roster, so sort of mid. So you can choose in between the Chaos Warriors with Hellblades or with the Khorngors. But one thing that sets the Khorngors apart is they have the best qualities of a Gore unit from the Beastmen roster. So they'll have abilities such as Primal Fury, Frenzy, and of course, as Khorne is ever so watching combat, if they fall below his expectations, they will certainly get a buff that will make sure that when they kill, they're doing it right.
Khorne sounds like it would be quite a fun one to do audio for. Has there been any kind of highlights of that process that you want to talk about, Chris?
Yeah, Steve. I think as soon as we saw the roster for Khorne, I think it got our team pretty excited, and I know that the Slaughter Brute got one of our team members particularly excited. He's actually a metal singer in a band, and I think it was like a match made in heaven, really. So he wanted to lend his vocal skills. It's quite terrifying, actually, what he can do by night. And
really?
Yeah, the Slaughter Brute is without a doubt the angriest sounding creature on the battlefield at the moment. So I was just reviewing it this morning with the team, and it's starting to sound really good.
You know, we looked at abilities for ogres. Is there any for Khorne, for Skulltaker, that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so he'll have his Cloak of Skulls ability. You'll have various means of enhancing it on the campaign side, but on the battle side, Skulltaker's a character you'll want to send against other legendary lords and lord characters in general. He's very good at one-on-one dueling, but the Cloak of Skulls will sort of enhance his defensive capabilities. In combat, providing he's got lots of kills, his defensive stats will be progressively buffed. So,
that's interesting. Give him a nice few set of skills that should be helpful.
This is a character which you'll send against other characters, ideally with these stats enhanced. So you could get.
So it's kind of another one of those characters that just destroys other characters in battle. I like that. It's
best out of him and make him even more durable. And let's just say the opposing side will have a really tough time against him.
So are those buffs enhanced by the amount of skulls he's taken, essentially?
Oh yes. You'll want to get as many as you can to max them out.
Little fact about the Cloak of Skulls. As soon as we saw the unit art for that, like I said to the team, I want to hear those skulls. Like it's such a unique cape.
That's very, very morbid, Chris.
Wow! Wow!
What's probably more?
What is his issue with Chris?
I got you sorted. Don't worry. I can get some bones. Genuine bones. I didn't ask too many questions other than you don't.
Wow, Chris, why did you know how to get bones, bro? Like what's going on with that?
No,
when that comes
out. Other than they were procured by humane means, so that's fine. But when you get up close to the Skulltaker on the battlefield and you hear his cape, flowing around, you'll hear real bones, on there, which is a bit gross, but it's pretty cool. So.
Humane means.
There's no further questions.
Don't ask, man. Just keep going.
Obviously, with all this paid content as well, we also have the free stuff that comes, like the rebalancing, the patching, the bug fixes, the FOC, that sort of stuff. Is there anything coming as part of Update 6.0 that you can talk about?
You betcha, yeah. The team's been working really hard on loads of stuff behind the scenes.
Let's just do a quick little thing on Khorne. Khorne, I think, like I said, with the greenskins, they don't need that much to be pushed. But yeah, pretty solid all overall. There's not. I would say I am disappointed with the Khorne stuff. I think Khorne they got enough stuff in Khorne already, and the additions seem to enhance the roster a bit. Give them some more monsters, some more heavy hitters, some more support. Yeah, looks pretty good.
On that, so let's start with the greenskins. So the greenskins Greenskins are getting an update to the scrap system that we introduced in Warhammer
Scrap
2.
system, okay.
One in the Paunch. So there's some UI and UX changes there to just help the flow, make it a bit easier, get some of those nice upgrades that the orcs and goblins need for battle. So that should be a fun one. Now for the ogres, oh Steve, it's an ogre hall. So
he's proud of it too. Alright.
We're going to be having some updates to the Great Maw and the offerings there.
Great Maw offerings.
What I quite like is also what Josh was talking about earlier. So with the ogre
about the ogres, I think they could. Well, not the ogres, the orcs and the goblins, the greenskins. I think that's a good update for the entire thing because, well, you need a better UI for that. Like, there's some parts of it that the scrap system I find and uninteresting. I felt like no need to sort of really explore the scrap system when I was playing with the game. So hopefully, additions to the scrap system will make it much more engaging to the player, engaging for me at least.
A master on your lord. All the ogre lords are going to get big names now. So, yeah, it's not just reserved to our legendary lords of the past. So that's a nice one for them. And then Khorne. Khorne's got a big one. Khorne's got a great one. They've got something called the Skull Throne. All their legendary lords are going to get access to this new panel, which will feature a variety of different timed buffs. You're going to be accumulating through battles skulls, and of course, once you've got your skulls, you're going to be spending them in this feature. So you're going to be.
So the skulls, you get more stuff with the skull. Okay. The ogres, I don't remember what they said about the ogres, but I do remember that the ogres were getting big name stuff. Yeah, I guess that's good. I wanted more though. Treating the ogres out there, the ogres need a lot of loving. I'm just going to say that right now.
We're doing all sorts of things like getting army abilities or spreading Khorne corruption. And as you progressively spend the skulls there, you're going to progress up the tower and then get to some of the big juicy buffs at the end. So lots of skulls and lots of bones, Chris. The bone man over there, indeed.
More skulls for the skull.
I'm not sure I want that particular location.
So yeah, we've mentioned in the past that the FLC content that's coming with this is going to be for Khorne.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the powers that be have given us permission to say who it is.
Oh, wait a minute.
Rich, are you ready?
Yeah.
Take it away, Chris.
This time around, our new legendary lord will be Arbol, and he is a pretty exciting character to work with because his thing is he wants to fight the biggest, baddest things on the battlefield. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that he sounded, mean, mighty, and just giving it all. So the Order team, the dialogue team did a great job in really channeling that characteristic of him.
Definitely a very different take and to Skulltaker. So I think between him and Scarbrand, you've got three pretty great, Khorne legendary lords here to play with. And as Chris said, Arbol's all going to be about taking on these biggest battles for his feature called the Wrath of Khorne. So he's trying to do all the things in the eyes of Khorne himself, to be that great champion. And yeah, we're playing around with ideas, which was playing to his lore as well. So if you dig deep on that, and if you hear about what happens to him if he wasn't to succeed, well, we've got some ideas around that, let's just say.
And that also brings the count to 100, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, can you believe it?
That's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing achievement. When we first started, way back, and
wow, that is 100. That is a lot.
Many of us have been working on the series for quite some time now. I don't think in our wildest dreams we'd get to that number. We knew there was lots to make, but yeah, it's quite a moment.
Chris, let's talk a little bit more about audio and how all of that comes together. So what's your process? I guess.
Corn update. I do like the skulls. The skulls are solid. I don't know what to say about it other than it's a good mechanic. It could work well, but the thing about corn is you get skulls quickly. I wonder what the slowdown or if you have to keep putting skulls down to get up the skull throne. Like once you get to the top, do you get sent back down, or do you keep sending skulls? Like what's it always play like? I guess I have to get my hands on it to really figure it out.
Conceptualization of a DLC through to people hearing it for the first time and things like that.
Well, I think any audio team is quite lucky to work on Total War Warhammer because it is such a rich world and such an amazing character.
Tons of lore, tons of lore.
It is a playground for us to work in. But our process starts really when we see the unit roster come through and we start seeing some of that concept art, and we can start, as our sort of departments, our dialogue department, sound design department, start planning out what we're doing at quite that early phase. So our really talented dialogue team, they sit down with our designers and narrative team, and they work out what we call a character bio. So this is all the characteristics of that unit or lord or whatever it might be. That how big they are, where they're from, what's their age, what makes them tick, what there's some vocal characteristics that we might be expecting, and from that they go away to a really extensive casting process, and we get lots and lots of talented actors to come in and read for these parts, and then we do. This casting process is quite extensive. We make sure that we really nail, so everyone's kind of has a score and has an opinion on these things until we kind of go, right, that's the one, that's the match up for those units or that character or that lord. And then the team will do some prototyping and maybe some voice processing. We can make it may sound a bit corny or maybe a bit more ogre-y. And then finally, doing what the team are doing right now is onto the actual recording. So our script writers have put together, really great scripts for the characters. I can't wait for the audience to see what we've got this time around. And our sound design team, meanwhile, even before we start getting animations or VFX in, we can look at these unit rosters and go do our research and look up the lore. What we really like doing is seeing where there's something unique or some characteristic we want to bring out with the sound design.
I like to hear about the process of selecting voices and sounds. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And the great thing about Total War is the scale is from the giant battlefield right down to the
massive scale,
with
massive amount,
right close. So
massive everything.
Make sure that their abilities or their projectiles or their weapons, particularly for our lords, sound really big, so the player knows exactly what's going on in the battlefield or can have an idea of in that chaos that there's something big and bad happening over there. So they're right up close to all the character movements. So we break our layers down into footsteps and character armor, so they might have something unique in their armor. Right the way to their vocalizations as well. So we spend a lot of time making sure that all that language of stuff is brought together with the sound. So it's a really fun process.
You don't really think about that when you're playing the game and you're hearing all the sounds together, that every single one of those sounds has had like a process that has laid it all together.
There's nothing for free in this, unfortunately. We've got to design everything from scratch. But the team have a really good time. It's challenging because
design from scratch was probably sounds hard.
What they want to do.
Glad you guys got the challenge.
It's fun though. It's fun.
Absolutely, and I'm not sorry.
The great thing about us is we are bouncing off of what the amazing character artists, what the animators, what the VFX team do. So we can help bring all their amazing work to life with the sound, and hopefully the players kind of feel that, so it will feel visceral and feels real, and they have a good time doing it. So
and you've got some weird techniques, haven't you, on the team, like how you make some of the sounds?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, this time around, we kind of had a bit of a bonus. So when we had the squigs, so we've got the traditional little squigs, then we've got this gigantic
colossal squig. Yeah,
it's a chance for us to kind of maybe rework a little bit of the older content that we've got in the game, so we can make the squigs sound even squiggier, a bit gross. But of course we've got this giant one, so we really wanted this guy to just sound really gross. And the team kind of go above and beyond, and there's some when I saw the footage come through the recording session, because we've actually got a team out in Sophia of sound designers, and they really love recording stuff from scratch.
Really? You're working with
It was,
Sophia?
quite
Amazon
possibly the
Sophia.
grossest recording session I've ever had.
Amazon Troy.
I'm pretty sure porridge and yogurt and all sorts of weird squishy things were involved to make, bring
Like, Troy and Pharaoh weren't beloved, but I'd still say they're very playable if you give them a chance. Well, I'd say give them a chance, but Sophia, I feel like if they work on it a little bit, they could be the Total War for the historical fans, and then these guys can be the Total War for their fantastical fans.
bring out the inner squig from these characters. So yeah, it was quite.
They went above and beyond. Yeah. They really did, and they certainly turned some people's stomachs here when they saw the footage.
Actually, I think we've got the clip that we can show. So
Cool.
roll it. When you're playing and you see the colossal squig and you hear those wonderful sounds, think of that poor Dev sucking on porridge.
At least we didn't have to do that.
Speaking of that,
It's true.
group recordings.
Group recordings, yeah, we love to get our devs involved. So I remember.
I don't think that recording was real, though. Just say, no, I think they were just messing around.
Recording units. And yeah, the team did it and don't disappoint. And I think that we usually
Thank you.
But with them, you can't really tell,
Steve as well this time around.
Rich and I, we've done some of the battle cries and stuff like that. So we're in there somewhere.
It was good fun, wasn't it?
It was great, although I couldn't speak for a day.
No, I think my voice drops about 2 octaves after that. So everyone thinks I've got some horrendous cold afterwards. But yeah, it's
He's still got that nasty look he's giving Chris. Like, what
really
the
fun. And you hear it in the game. You get this, this sound of the army, right? It's and it's the team group do a great job processing and laying all this stuff together. So it's the units. You feel them on the unit. It's great.
3, 2, 1. For the Black God! 3, 2, 1. For the Black God! Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Slaughter! 3, 2, 1. Slaughter!
And so once the team have done all their incredible work and we've got all the sound design and we've got all the dialogue together, then we start the mixing process. And actually that's the bit I love the most, is actually hearing everything all together. And we start balancing everything against each other. So we make sure that the most important sounds are heard on the battlefield, and all the tiny details when the characters get nice and close are audible as well. And it's just the final sheen, the final polish on everything. Few last minute feedback notes, are always natural in this process in our iterations phase. But that's the bit where we kind of put the final audio polish on it. Yeah,
Awesome. It's got to be really rewarding hearing all of that come together into that final product.
Yeah, so much hard work goes into it from the audio team as well as the wider team, and it's it is the final step that you kind of go, we got something good in the bag there.
Just makes it, doesn't it? Just immerses you into the world.
Well, thank you guys for joining me for this today. It's been really great to get some more information about the next DLC and Update 6.0. We'll be back later this month with the official trailer, as well as some gameplay showcases and things like that on the run-up to release. So, once again, Rich, Josh, Chris, thanks again for joining us, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Alright, bye! See you guys next time.